Rich, this is what happens when I host the show for you. We go down the rabbit hole with Howard Beck talking about which NBA journalists would win on Survivor. We were thinking with you on now, which of your former colleagues from SportsCenter over the years do you think would live off the land the best on one of those types of shows?
Howard Beck was so confused for the first 5 minutes. He didn't know what was going on.
Let me think about this. This is a good one. Who would live off the land the best? Oh, man.
Who's going fishing? Like, is Craig Kilborn, using the...
No, I don't know how many anglers there were.
Right.
Like, does Trey Wingo know how to skin a squirrel to eat it to survive? I don't know.
Kenny Mayne is the one most likely to have a conversation with a volleyball. I'm trying to figure out which ways to attack this.
Attack it so your life depends upon it, Rich.
I don't know who would live off the land.
Like Robin Roberts is the most likely to. You want an alliance with Robin Roberts, I think.
She's trustworthy.
She is. She's
Robin
like the
Roberts
only
is
trustworthy
yes,
one on
she's
that.
the only one I'd form an alliance with.
You know what? He's a little, soft, but Shap would probably know how to start a fire. He probably would know the history of fire.
True.
He would probably know about the history of wood and chopping wood to make fire and who was the first person to do it. So, I mean, I think he would probably know how to survive. Fascinating question, Ben.
Like I said, we go down the rabbit hole when you're not around, and this is the kind of stuff we put in the old Google machine here.
I don't know I don't know if it means anything for what it's worth. We go down a lot of rabbit holes as well when I'm there too. So, I mean, there's a lot of rabbit holes.
I
don't recall there any survivalists.
Well, obviously,
in Bristol, Connecticut.
Rich, we would follow Charlie Steiner to freedom, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, when everything went haywire with Y2K, Charlie was there with a lantern. So that did happen. But that's a good one. I don't know if any of us would survive. I don't know.
Rich, I've been going down the rabbit hole watching archery highlights, and I've really been enjoying myself. I'm not having as much fun, though, as you're having doing the archery highlights.
No one's having as much fun as Rich.
Did you know going into this that archery would be something that you would have a calling for and a connection to?
No, not at all. I just didn't know. I haven't done a lot of these ever. Today there was team cycling that I had to look at the highlights 5-6 different times to understand it. And we're having a lot of fun just putting stuff together. We're the crew's amazing. Everybody's having fun, having a blast, and then there's stuff that doesn't make air that would have been great. Like today, there was an upset in women's doubles badminton. Big upset. China lost the gold medal and to Indonesia, but initially we got some bad information that we thought it was Thailand that had beaten China. So I had the line all lined up, having not even seen the highlight, that match point. The line would be, what's the capital of Thailand? And the answer was shuttlecock. And we were all so profoundly disappointed to find out that line would never make air because it was Indonesia. As we know, their capital is not Bangkok. But, I had to explain that joke to some people who weren't, 7 years old and had that happen to them in the third grade.
Usually I don't like when broadcasters already workshop ideas for the big moment, but that one you get a pass on. That one sounds like it should have come to the light.
Right, and there was a back and forth because, we decided to create a segment called Rich's Shuttlecock Minute so I could say the word with impunity and basically just spotlight a lesser-known sport every single time with that. And yesterday was the triple jump. And subsequent to us choosing the triple jump for the Shuttlecock Minute, somebody went ahead, one of the women who were doing the triple jump, set an Olympic record in her first jump and then a world record in her second jump. And there was a little concern, that we were giving it short shrift because we made it part of our shuttlecock minute, especially since my lead-in was talking about how the triple jump goes all the way back to the ancient games when the Greeks and the Romans were probably drunk and figured, let's hop, skip, and a jump and call it a sport with my lead-in line. And this is the stuff I'm so proud of. You have no idea. Like, Ben, I'm proud of my children. I'm proud of this show. I'm proud of our team that we have there in that studio. But this sort of stuff really just lights my lamp. Like, I'm so proud of myself to come up with these lines. And we kind of went back and forth. Do we make it a different sport for our minute? And I'm like, I kind of like the lead-in so much, I got to stick with it. We'll just make it work.
Rich
Even though
Eisen.
I don't know if it's true that it was drunk Romans and Greeks who came up with the idea. Just don't know.
Rich Eisen joins the Rich Eisen Show. You catch him, of course, nonstop on Tokyo Gold. TJ and I were talking. We're like, it feels like you're just always on doing highlights.
Well, that's the way, Ben. That's the way the old sports centers used to be. And back in the '98 World Series, when I was doing ESPN radio broadcast, hosting the coverage of the World Series, and we were in San Diego. That was the Yankees win over the Padres when they went 125-50, by the way. And so it was my job to interview somebody who was there at the game in the middle of the fifth inning. They would have less of a commercial break and give time for me to interview somebody for 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And it was my job to find somebody in the stands who was worthy of that interview. Like one time it was for game one, it was Billy Crystal, and game three, it was McGuire, who was in the stadium because he had just set the home run record earlier that year. And game four, which turned out to be the final game, I saw Charlie Sheen, the actor Charlie Sheen. And I saw him in the stands, and I went up to him, and I said, hey, where are you going to be in the fifth inning? And he told me he was going to be in the owner's suite in the fifth inning to meet him there for that interview. And I met him there in the fourth inning, and I watched an entire inning of that World Series with Charlie Sheen. And at one point he says to me, Rich, a couple of years ago, I wasn't doing so well, staying up all night and kind of, doing a lot of things. I don't know if you're aware of that. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of aware of that, Charlie. And he's like, so I would watch you at 10 o'clock at night and then watch you at 11 o'clock all the way through till about 4 in the morning. And right around 2 in the morning, I would know what you were going to say before you said it. So it's one of these repeats. I'm back in the rear type thing. So kind of cool. I'm back in the Wayback Machine here.
No, and a great fun Hollywood fact, too. You are forever connected to Charlie Sheen's infamous Hollywood all-night benders. I had no idea that you're a part of that.
Hey, I was part of the Sports Center Tiger Blood before I even knew it. Who knew? I had no idea. So
incredible moment. I don't know if everybody watching or listening got a chance to see it, but between the high jumpers who shared a gold medal, that doesn't happen too often. Cool. It was incredible, wasn't it?
I love that sort of stuff. I can't get enough of it. And, then you learn the backstory that these two guys, one from Qatar, the other from Italy, compete each other in events all over the world. They knew each other. It wasn't the first time they met each other. They were friends. And, they looked at each other, and they both had jumped 2.37 meters. And then they moved the bar up to 2.39 meters. Both of them missed it. The tie break, which I did not know on high jump, was how many misses you had earlier. Both of them had made every jump until missing the same jump, and that's when they went up to him and said, hey, we could have a jump off, or, that's when the Qatari said, how about, can we just each get a gold? And they're like, yeah, that's possible, and they just said, that's it. And I know others see that, and just like in this world, there are detractors about everything, but I just thought the sportsmanship was amazing, and today they had the medal ceremony, both guys on the top podium, and they put each other's gold medals around the other guy's neck.
Wow.
So the Italian put the medal around the Qatari's neck and vice versa, and I just can't get enough of stuff like that. It's awesome.
It's exactly why we love the Olympics. It should be celebrated more. It has been celebrated throughout these Olympics, those moments of just pure human connection, humanity, compassion, sportsmanship. And then on the flip side, you see for the men in tennis, you see Djokovic just like destroy his racket, throw this giant temper tantrum, doesn't get the gold medal. What would you make of the implosion he had out there on the court?
You know what? I don't know what to make of any of it, but in the same way that, so many people are criticizing Biles, I'm just going to take a pass on this one. I can't imagine what it's like to be in that Olympic Village in the middle of this pandemic and the pressures that are on you for your country. And he was playing doubles and singles nonstop. And I know he said something that everyone thought he was referring to Biles, and it sure sounded like it. So his actions certainly belied somebody who can handle the pressure. I just don't know what it was. But, like I said, I prefer to talk about like the great stuff, like the runner from the Netherlands, Sifan Hassan. And I don't know if you saw it today, she's running a 1,500-meter heat, and a Kenyan runner in front of her falls. And she trips over her, and she falls. And she gets up, and she starts running. And she catches up to the pack. And then she's right next to the leaders, and she blows past them. And she won the heat anyway. Somebody falls in front of her, she trips and falls. Like the ultimate, when you have something happen to you, get up and dust yourself off and keep going. Which, I couldn't believe that. And then 12 hours later, she's running the actual race for the 5,000 meter, the 5K, 3.1 miles. And she wins that. She blows past the Kenyan in that race, and they had to widen out to show both runners still in the screen. That's how far in front she was of everyone. It looked like, a secretariat winning the race, like where there was nobody else in the frame. And that's on the same day. And that's the thing you also have to remember a lot about these swimmers, that they're swimming heats and then they swim a race. And it's just nonstop. It is so grueling. But to see a feat like that today, it's my favorite performance of the Olympics in the first 10 days.
No, it's truly remarkable what she's doing. Like you said, not only the moment of her of falling down, but just the fact that 12 hours later she's running the 5K, and then I think she's doing 10,000 meters or something as well. I read she's incredible.
And they look so. And again, speaking as a runner, Ben, they look effortless. Like the top parts of their body from the waist up don't move. It's just their legs, like the road runner. I don't know how they physically do it. Truly amazing. I love watching this stuff. And then I love the field events, the discus, the shot put, the javelin. I love it. I love that stuff. They had to stop the discus tonight because it was raining. But the track events, they ran in the rain. Like they kept running in the rain. And the shots of the slow motion rain falling around these runners was amazing. It was just pretty remarkable.
So interesting, Rich, to hear you speak so passionately about this experience, because you're somebody who's covered sports at the highest level for a long time. You casually mentioned being at a World Series in '98 or working with the NFL, but it feels like this experience from the outside looking in has almost like reconnected you with sports or given you a deeper, greater appreciation just for what it takes to be a professional athlete. How do you think your relationship with sports in general has changed from being a part of this Tokyo Gold thing?
I don't know. It's been pretty neat, man. It's been pretty neat. But the whole thing, just, speaking personally, professionally, being back in the state of Connecticut doing a highlight show, it's just like, I'm back in a time machine. I'm back in a time machine. It's a highlight program, and I love the fact that it proves what I think all of us believe, that there is still a market in this day and age where you see something in the palm of your hand on your phone as it's happening, and you also get reactions and opinions about something that just happened in real time on your phones and your hands, that there still is the need to settle down and watch just a recounting through a well-produced and executed highlight TV show. That will always still work. And I'm thrilled to be at the tip of that Olympic spear for us, on Peacock, and I say us because, we're talking on Peacock right now, and that streamer's happening while there are so many different ways of consuming things on your phone. The whole thing has been just amazing, but I do look forward to getting back with you guys.
Well, as you've now immersed yourself in the world of the 100 meters and the javelin and long distance running and the shot put, are you keeping tabs on the fact of should the Knicks commit long term to Evan Fournier? Are you thinking about what the Colts are going to do now that Carson Wentz broke his foot, or are you just entrenched with archery?
Well, I can still, walk and chew gum at the same time and also ignore the Knicks. So I can do all of that at once. Now, Ben, are you at any way, shape, or form hoping that this is the year where
no, Rich.
Higher register, Rich. I mean,
no, Rich. They're going to be terrible this year. They're going to miss the playoffs. We're not focused on free agency 2021. It's all about Zion, Rich. We're putting it out there now. We're going to be early on it. So we're really playing for 2024 here. I'm a futurist. I'm Kanye West. I'm living here at the Rich Eisen Studios.
I know you are. As I live in Connecticut, and I greatly appreciate that, by the way.
No, I don't have any real expectations for this team. I just don't want to see them commit long-term and give somebody a bunch of money who might not deserve it. And that's classic Knicks. And that's what today's the new July 1st. Today's August 1st in the new NBA calendar. We're going to see some crazy contracts and movements a little bit later today. Anything exciting you or have you hopeful?
I think the Knicks should just stay the course, keep building what they were doing, and then you never know. You're right about Zion. I know he said that Mecca comment, and we'll see if he actually does that. But it is the Wentz of it all is fascinating. On Friday's show when Ryan Leaf was sitting in there, we were having a conversation first blush about if Wentz is seriously hurt, what happens. And my first thought was Foles. And Foles had a press conference today where he basically,
said,
held up a sign or a boom box outside of the Colts window, say anything and say, take me, I'm here. I'm buried on the depth chart. The rookie already has the veteran to help him, which is why he mentioned that Dalton is the leader this team needs. Basically, he said everything. Dalton's here, guys. I love Reich. I don't want to go anywhere where I don't know the offense already. Just again, another pop culture reference. It was like Kramer. Why don't you tell me the name of the trade you'd like to hear? It's there. It makes sense. The ridiculous time frame of 5 to 12 weeks shows you that, you're going to go into the season with these unseasoned people who are on the roster for 4 or 5 weeks when you've got, a team in the division like the Titans who are set to go with Julio Jones. You are going to fall behind fast. So getting someone like Foles is the no-brainer of no-brainers, that as long as Dalton stays healthy and doesn't get hurt to the point where the Bears are like, well, now we need Foles there. And I'm thinking the Bears might go through training camp to see if just in case that happens, because, Nagy came on our show right after the draft and flat out said he wants to replicate what he was front and center on the Chiefs staff for, which was to have an off, a sabbatical year or a freshman sit-down year for Fields like they had for Mahomes. I think they're going to play their cards close to the vest, even though it makes sense to do it now. That may be like a mid-August, okay, Dalton's healthy, we can go into the season with that, we can get rid of Foles type thing. And David Dunn, Foles' agent, is probably pounding on the Bears front office right now to get this done. It makes too much sense.
It's just crazy how he'll forever be connected to Carson Wentz, and we'll see that connection.
He can't quit.
continue.
I know, right?
It's insane.
I know. The one other thing that I was thinking about, and I'm wondering, I don't know if you guys can tell me because I have not seen this anywhere, is maybe the Colts call down to a high school in Alabama and see if Phillip Rivers is like eager or any way, shape, or form wants to give it one last fling.
I have not seen that anywhere, Rich. You're the first person that I've heard mention that.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I know he wants to coach, and I know he's with his children, and I know he's probably tapped out mentally thinking that this thing's over. But don't you think the Colts, it would behoove them to just ring him up and say, you know us, we know you, you know everything. You know, what do you think? Just one more year, the high school will still be there. I know you've made your commitment, and Phillip sounds like, and is one of those guys who'd be like, no, I've already told the kids I'm coming. You know, I don't know, but I'm wondering if the Colts have already made that phone call first.
I've been the only one saying this. What if Jacob Eason is really good?
I know. I mean, why not? What if all these guys are really good? I heard Tua would look good in practice today. You know,
Yeah, by the way, Trey Lance
it's August, guys. Why not? Everybody
Rich,
looks good in August.
Trey Lance's first 3 red zone passes, all touchdowns.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Jimmy's getting upset.
Jimmy's looking for real estate in Indianapolis.
Maybe so.
Enjoy the rest of the archery. We appreciate you so much checking in on your own show.
You're the man.
Thanks so much, Rich.
All right, bye.
All right, Rich.
Rich Eisen checking in. You guys having fun downstairs? You need anything? I'm upstairs if you need me. It's kind of what it feels like a little bit, no? Partying at we're a little young to be going out. We're partying at the parents' house.
Oh, right.
I'm right upstairs.
And then Rich checks in.
You guys need anything? I'm here. But you guys have fun down there.
Yeah.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.